All right, guys, welcome to the Vision Podcast. Today, what I want to cover, this is going to be a quick one, is the Bitcoin halving. I think a lot of times people are hearing about this and they're just needing a quick explanation that doesn't throw you for a loop and take 45 minutes of understanding the whole Bitcoin protocol and how it all works and how it's going to take over the world and how if you don't understand this, you're an idiot, all that stuff. You hear all kinds of different people that are giving you this technical analysis. Let's make it simple. So tune in. I'm going to show you a few charts and we're going to break down the Bitcoin halving in under 10 minutes. All right, guys. So every 4 years, the Bitcoin protocol, and it's just a software protocol. Let's separate kind of briefly Bitcoin, the software protocol, from Bitcoin, the digital currency that is used to trade on that software protocol. So those are two separate things. The price that you see are the Bitcoins being traded back and forth. Then you have the software protocol, which runs the blockchain technology that powers the whole thing. And so if you don't know those two things, that needs to be a separate video. But I want to talk about primarily the software protocol. So every 4 years, it goes through a halving event, which just means that the new supply coming out into circulation is cut in half. And again, this is a layman's video and it's a quick one. So just understand that when new supply comes into the market, it's immediately often being sold because these miners mine Bitcoin and they need to sell that for profit so that they can stay in business. And the idea behind that is it creates a bit of sell pressure. It's a stock to flow understanding. Stockpile to the flow of new currency in circulation now, or asset in circulation. So the idea is if you cut that in half, you're going to reduce sell pressure. You're always having to buy and sell anytime you have a transaction. But the idea is this is brand new currency into circulation and it's being sold as the first transaction. So you have sell pressure coming down. And then you also have a reduction in supply over the next 4 years. So if you take those two things into account, that alone is going to give you some type of model to be able to see price action. Take a look at this chart. So what you're seeing here is the stock to flow model put together by Plan B. And briefly, this is kind of a helpful chart because you have color coordination. We all love that. But look at the gray line. So if you're noticing the gray line as it goes through the chart on that X axis, kind of left to right, you're seeing the gray line kind of chunk up. It kind of bars up, and that's every 4 years. Now that's the halving. Every 4 years, you're going to see that price outline and kind of patterning go up by a pretty substantial magnitude. That's the halving event, the halving protocol, the halving software adjustment that happens every 4 years. Now, as you look at that same chart, go ahead and take a look at the price action or the price modeling that we have there in the color. So that follows that gray line all the way up. And if you follow it right there to 2024, you can kind of start to see where we are headed coming into 2025, 2026, 2027, into 2028. Now, again, if this, you might want to look at this for a while, the chart, to kind of understand it, because it's a logarithmic chart, which kind of patterns the price over time, and it adjusts the price point at a variable. So you're seeing 100,000 to a million really quick, but it takes a while just to even get to 200,000 as it rises up, that first little section that we're about to head through. So from 100 to 200,000 could take up to a year to 2 years to 3 years. You don't really know. The idea here, though, is to understand that when this halving happens, again, supply gets cut in half, sell pressure goes down. This is a software protocol, so there's no outside factors that are going to come in and give you changes on those factors. Software protocol, supply reduction, sell pressure reduction, those are all constants that you don't need to worry about what's going on with Israel and Iran and Ukraine and Russia. None of those things, or the Fed, or global liquidity, anything like that. You don't need to worry about none of those factors to know those constants. Okay, sell pressure, software protocol, supply reduction. Now, going forward, let me show you another chart here, which is just halving price history, where it's been in the past. So you can kind of see, if you go back now, you're seeing what it was at the halving number one in 2012. Then you see what it looked like in 2016. Then you see what it looked like in 2020, and now it's today. The price is roughly at um, 64,000. And so that idea will give you kind of a projection on what you can see coming in the future. Now, again, none of these models and none of these pricing history charts and the things that we talk about can give you a for sure price target or price category. All we can tell you is the patterning and basically the directional movement of this asset. So keep in mind, you don't need to get fixated on thinking what exactly is it going to go to. My view and recommendations to people that are wanting to get in the space is not to come in here and think of it like a gambling or get rich quick, for sure. Also, try not to trade this. Let's say that you're somebody who's a trader. You're not going to be able to predict any price models here or, price action that is going to help you with your trades. Again, in a macro sense or a swing trade or a long-term trade, kinda. But if you're trying to do anything smaller than that, you're going to end up getting liquidated for sure, because this is not something that has price controls like the stock market. This is a true, actual price action, supply and demand, traded on a macro level, worldwide level asset. Now, you do have some, in my opinion, manipulation through the exchanges, but that's not going to be enough to where you're going to be able to pattern this correctly. You might get one or two trades right, and then you just get liquidated because it did something crazy and it had a 20 to 30% swing, and you're like, oh my gosh, what? I thought I was, and you'll be stuck there. I thought I was going to, and you got liquidated. So don't do that. Follow the trend, follow the pattern, and understand that this halving in its most simple form is something that you can make a tremendous amount of gains on. But if you're thinking of gains in a short term, you're not going to make any gains, because as you go through this, if you go back to that stock to flow, you're going to see a lot of choppiness. And these choppiness, these swings are, sometimes up to 30% swings, and if you're trying to follow price action and you have a 30% uptick or downtick, you're done. None of that's going to work. Definitely don't take any leverage on this. So look at it. And again, if you're new and you're not trading, don't worry about none of the things I just said right now. Buy something and hold on to it for at minimum, I would say 10 years. But if you're like, oh my gosh, I got to have it sooner and I don't have any money for that, think of a 4-year time frame at minimum. If you do anything less than 4 years, you're not going to really be too happy with this. And if you're in that mindset anyways, this is really probably not the space that you're going to want to be in. But my encouragement is this is the space for everybody. Just adjust your price amount, your buying amount on that 4-year time frame. If you were thinking, oh, I want to make a couple grand, no, just put a couple hundred in. Get yourself through that first 4-year cycle. See what happens. You're going to start getting a little bit more encouraged after that and a little bit more excited about what you want to do on the next one, because this isn't going away. You're going to keep getting these halvings every 4 years, all the way up until 2140. So we're going to be here. We're going to be doing it. This is the quick one I have for you, under 10 minutes. Come back in. Hopefully when we're talking again on this on Bitcoin, we're looking at over 100K. I hope it is, and I'll see you then.